Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Arsenal transfer, whatever it is, the newsroom, the goon room. I've just come on, right? I've just opened the studio. Steve has gifted not 20, but 40 memberships to the channel before we even went live. He did this about 10 minutes ago. I got so confused when I opened it up. That is unbelievable support. Steve, thank you so much. And if you have been, there's so many green names back in the chat now. If you have just been gifted a membership by Steve, please do make sure to thank him in the chat. That is unbelievable support. Unbelievable. Steve, you're an absolute legend. Let me just go live on TikTok whilst we're here. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And as always, it goes into keeping this channel alive and letting me do this. And what a time to be doing this, because we are 4 points clear at the top of the league. We're going to talk about the games yesterday, the weekend's results, Arsenal's game, obviously, some injury concerns off the back of that game, though. So we'll talk about those and really the next 4 games that we've got. I think it's so important. I think we've got a real opportunity right now. Everyone's just saying W Steve in the chat. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. W Steve. Are you AFC Max in disguise? He's a legend. Steve, you legend, bringing back all the greenery. Yeah, you love to see it. Look at all the green names back in the chat. Philip's got one. Joshua's got one. As always, the more active you are in the chat, if you like all of the videos, if you're subscribed, you're more likely to get gifted a membership. I think. I don't know, but if I tell you that, you're more likely to do it. So there you go. Loads of you here as well, which we love to see. Vivi Vlad, Ethan Udal, Emilio is in the building. We're like 60 subscribers away from 25,000 subscribers as well. So if you could, and you're not already, please do subscribe, because we could hit 25k, which would be very, very cool. Ethan Udal says, remember, we aren't top. We aren't top of the open play table, which is clearly the most important one. Honestly, like, people were saying to me, "Oh, why are you getting wound up by that?" Because it's just so obvious what they're trying to do. It's so obvious that they're trying to, and they say it's a compliment, right? People are like, "Oh, they're complimenting how good you are at set pieces." It's like, but they're not. They're not. It's a backhanded compliment that is aimed at saying, without set pieces, we're rubbish, and that's just not true. We are the best team in the league right now, regardless of whether or not we're scoring set pieces. What did you get in your GCSEs? Random question. I got 5 A stars, 5 A's, and a B. I got a B in Spanish. No hablo español. So yeah, that brought down the mood, I've got to say. Would you rather see Man City or Liverpool win between them next week? Draw. Always a draw. Whenever we're competing against 2 teams, draw. It is mathematically the optimal solution, because that is 4 points dropped total rather than 3 points dropped total. So that is what I go for. I go for a draw. I mean, listen, both of them have got tough games before then, by the way. And this is what I'm saying. We'll come on to this a little bit later in the show, but you know, the next 2 Premier League games we've got are Burnley and Sunderland, right? And I know Sunderland is 4th in the league. We should be beating Burnley and Sunderland. Liverpool have got Villa and then City, and City have got Bournemouth and then Liverpool. So, you know, we should be going into the international break even further ahead than we are now, hopefully. Oslo Goon is here. You love to see it. Man tells Zach to post more often. Zach Jalab, they're good videos, aren't they? The one with Mark Clattenburg did really well. But the thing is, it's so difficult to make that kind of content. Like, it's such good content. If you're not aware, Zach Jalab, done a few videos with him now, does these 20 versus 1 things. We have Mark Clattenburg in the studio with us. But the problem is, to do a video like that, you've got to get the studio, you've got to get all of the people working the cameras, you've got to get all of the different creators, you know, you've got to get sponsors, because obviously it costs, you know, thousands of pounds to do something like that. So yeah, it's difficult to do them. Why are my messages getting deleted? They shouldn't be getting deleted, Ned. They shouldn't be getting deleted. Alki Taylor, aka founder of the Goon Platoon, got a membership. There you go. Are you going to do a watch along for City versus Liverpool? Success or hate watch, no matter the result, although draw would be optimal. Yeah, we will absolutely be live doing a watch along on Big Up for that game, 100%. Ryan, big up Rory for your channel's growth. Feels like a few days ago when we were closing in on 14k Thierry Henry. I know. You're not wrong. I appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you. The one after that, yeah, maybe it did get deleted. There isn't one after that on my screen. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, look. All things considered, very, very good weekend. The only potential negative from it is these injuries, and I'm not really sure what to make of it. Now, within the game, Saliba goes off at halftime. Rice and Calafiori then both go off at the same time, having both gone down. Although that was a little bit of a... I honestly thought when they both went down, I thought it was a planned... It's something that we do quite a lot, right? Where someone goes down, gets treatment, and it means that everyone can take a breather. They can go and get instructions from the sideline. By the way, apologies. It just came up with the little Wi-Fi thing as if my Wi-Fi is dodgy. So if there is a bit of lag, I do apologize. But yeah, so I thought, because Rice sat down and then Calafiori sat down and then Calafiori got up, and I thought it was planned, and Calafiori sat down thinking he was meant to be the one doing it, and then saw Rice was sat down and so got back on his feet. Anyway, they both went off. And then Martinelli came on as a sub, and towards the end of the game, he was really struggling to run. I remember he made one long run, and I think he ended up not keeping hold of the ball or something. And he ran off the sort of back end of the pitch and went around the goal and was sort of jogging back. And I thought, you should be sprinting here. It's 1-0 with about 2 minutes to go. And it looks like he was... got some sort of injury. So we don't know exactly what those injuries are. Just a question, how much does a pint cost? At the Emirates right now, I think it's $6.90 maybe. Maybe we're into the £7 now. So yeah, this is what happened after the game. So Simon Collins said, Arsenal to assess the fitness of Calafiori, Martinelli, Rice and Saliba after today's win over Crystal Palace. No concerns over Saka, who was just ill in the build-up, so couldn't do the full 90. So Arteta did speak about that. Saka, and to be fair, if you watch the game, Saka was not at his best. I don't think we saw him do anything kind of explosive, and that was because he was ill. And that was why he was an injury doubt going into the game. People saying he was having a late fitness test. The late fitness test was illness, not any sort of injury. Nid, thank you very, very much for the 5 gifted memberships. What a legend. What a legend Nid is. If you've just been gifted a membership by Nid, please do make sure to thank him in the chat. Nid, I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Are you going to the Brighton game? Yeah, I will be at the Brighton game. WNID, WNID, WNID. You love to see it. So much greenery today. I know. It's delightful. Yeah, so Saka, don't need to worry about it. I'd still, if we can, probably rest him against Brighton, but we'll talk about that more in the Brighton preview tomorrow. But then this was what Mikel Arteta said after the game, and it's all a bit vague, to be fair. He said, the first one was Saliba, who had to be taken out after the first half. Declan Rice was struggling from the first half with a knock. And Calafiori, let's see how that will go. He said, I can't give any more information because I don't know, not because I don't want to tell you. On Saliba, there are 2 things related to his substitution. And with Declan, we don't know if it was the calf or the Achilles or what it was exactly. Now, there's some good and some bad to take from that. One thing, by the way, that I think is super interesting is what he said about Saliba. The fact that he said on Saliba, there are 2 things related to his substitution. To me, that says one of the things was injury, and one of them was that Saliba wasn't having his best game. And that actually, Arteta felt Mosquera coming in, given that, okay, you've got Saliba with a slight injury. Years gone by, Saliba does not get taken off in that game, but he's struggling a little bit with Mateta anyway. You can bring in Mosquera, who is slightly more physical, and you can protect Saliba. So I think that's interesting. The Declan Rice one, I think, sounds fine, given that. So it happened in the first half. Rice played on with it, which means it's not like a any sort of pulled or strained muscle or anything, and they don't know if it was the calf or the Achilles. I think he basically just got kicked in either the Achilles or the calf, so should be fine. Again, though, maybe rest him against Brighton, bring in Norgard or Marino. The Calafiori one, and it's probably, and Ross Lawman said it there, it sounds bad. I think part of this is to the PTSD, right, of Calafiori's injuries last season. He just said, Calafiori, let's see how that will go. What does that mean? So, yeah, that's a little bit worrying. Maybe it becomes an opportunity for Hincapie, though. And obviously, you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly there. So we do have, I mean, left back right now is probably the position we have the most depth in. So as long as it's something small for Calafiori, not the end of the world. And then with Martinelli, he said we have to check. He said he was a bit uncomfortable. He said he felt something. We don't know if it's a muscular issue or not. Tomorrow we will have more news. So, yeah, no real update on Martinelli either. The reason I think Martinelli is the most worrying is because his looked the most like it was kind of a some sort of strain or a pull. Some people are saying he was holding his groin. But either way, that probably puts him out until the international break, even if it's something minor. And the attack is the area of the pitch where we are actually lightweight at the moment. You've got on the bench yesterday only Martinelli and Nwaneri as attacking players. If you take Martinelli out of that, you're down to just Nwaneri. You're down to a front three effectively of Trossard, Gyokeres, Saka, guaranteed, and Nwaneri to come off the bench. Obviously, you can bring Max Dowman in as well, but yeah, that's probably the least ideal one. I have such high hopes for Hincapie. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Arteta said something today as well about Hincapie. Yesterday. He basically said Arsenal fans are going to fall in love with Hincapie. He was like, how aggressive he is, the way that he takes the game on, Arsenal fans are going to love him. And I think we started seeing it a little bit in the game yesterday. Like, he comes on and it's full throttle. It's, he threw himself into that diving header. It's exciting. But yeah, on the injuries, no major update on any of them, but all of them are slight concerns. And look, the good thing is, arguably you've got Brighton, Carabao Cup. I mean, I think we should genuinely be taking it seriously at this point because I think we've got the depth to take all of the competition seriously. Then you've got Burnley, really important game. Push comes to shove. We probably don't need to be full strength to win that game. And that's not me taking it lightly, but it's being realistic. Then you've got Slavia Prague, where, again, you should be able to win that game without going full strength. So, yeah, it's not ideal when you've already got Madueke, Havertz, Ødegaard, Jesus all out as well, but it could be worse. Hincapie sprinting to the line to clear the ball up the pitch just to stop a throw-in. Love it already. Yeah, exactly. We have 3 former Brighton players. What would you think if they were all to score against them? I would love it. I was actually, you got me there. I was thinking Ben White and Trossard. Who the hell is the third one? But obviously it's old Victor Gyokeres. Saka's nowhere near his best, and also, when do you think he will get his first hat-trick? Well, I think he was getting back to his best in the games against Fulham and Atletico. And it turns out he was ill all week in the build-up to this one, so I don't blame him. And also, the way that Palace set up in that game, it was very difficult. I mean, you'll have seen that clip, I would imagine, of Jurriën Timber taking on 4 players. That's how mad that side of the pitch was. There was no real space for Saka anyway, so I'm not worried about him at all. When will he get his first hat-trick? This season, hopefully. Who do you think replaces Timber if he doesn't play against Brighton? Ben White. That would be Ben White. Kepa, White, Mosquera, Hincapie, MLS, Zubi, Norgard, Ethan Trossard, Marino, Sakanelli. Yeah, it will be something along those lines. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. We'll talk about the Brighton game a little bit more tomorrow. But yeah, I think there will be a fair amount of rotation. The good thing is, against Brighton, we might actually get a decent game because I don't think they'll sit in deep against us. Palace's defensive organisation is the best I've seen at the Emirates in years. Yeah, look, you've got to give them credit. You've got to give them credit. The way they set up, incredibly difficult to break down. And their plan was very clear. And it nearly paid off a couple of times. We were playing it around the back for ages. And then suddenly, Zubamendi played a ball short to Calafiori and Sarr nipped in. And it was like, if they're going to get something against us, this is how they're going to do it. Fortunately, set piece again, ole ole. I was a bit disappointed, though, that once Palace went 1-0 down, they still refused to kind of overcommit or really push to try and get an equaliser. It's got to the point where I feel like teams are worried of being smashed to the point where they'll come with a game plan, which is basically keep it at 0-0 and hope you get something on the break. And then even when they go 1-0 down, they don't really change because they don't want to be like Atletico, go 1-0 down and then try and push it and end up losing 4-0. They don't want to be embarrassed, which is a little bit frustrating. Opinions on the set-piece gimmick? Look, we'll talk about this in a bit. Because everyone is crying. We've got rivals rattled. It's unbelievable. Suddenly, remember when it was all about winning? Literally, the only thing that mattered was winning and winning trophies. And now that we're in a position where people are worried that we are actually going to win a trophy, suddenly it's, but you can't win a trophy playing boring football. Where's the entertainment? Go and get your entertainment elsewhere. I'm picking up a trophy. That's my plan. So yeah, it's fairly embarrassing. Like and subscribe if you already have. Do it from another account. Less than 50 for 25k. Nid, I appreciate it. Let's hit 25k. Let's do it. I think he may play one of Saliba and Gabriel just to have some security. Then I think he'll play Piero at left back and hopefully Miles Lewis-Skelly in the left 8. Yeah, I could see that happening. That's the thing. You can't rotate like I know we did in the previous round. You can't. That was against Port Vale, right? Against Brighton, I don't think you can rotate the entire 11 because as good as the players are individually, right? We'll talk about this tomorrow, but if you line up a team that is fully rotated, like similar to the one that I read out a minute ago, like individually, if you bring each of them on as subs around the rest of the main team, they fit in perfectly well. When none of them are used to playing with each other massively, I think you set yourself up a little bit. So I wouldn't do that. Opinions on the worsening atmosphere at the Emirates? I sat in club level yesterday for the first time in a while in the clock end. Atmosphere was rubbish and the people were silent the whole game. Well, you were at club level. That was mistake number one. If you were club level atmosphere is terrible. And this is why I quite often, even times where like I've been offered club level tickets, not even having to pay for them, I'd rather pay and go in normal, like a normal section because club level is, there's none. But in terms of the general atmosphere, it's very difficult. I actually thought the crowd yesterday weren't bad. I didn't think the crowd were too bad yesterday, but when you sat there for the opening half an hour and legitimately nothing happens, it just naturally is hard to keep that atmosphere going. I think when you do that on an away game, the away fans will be fine. They'll keep it going. But for a whole sort of 60,000 crowd, it's difficult. What's wrong with club level? Nothing's wrong with club level at all. It just is a tamer atmosphere, like that. Just naturally how it is. There's nothing wrong with it. What's club level? So club level is, if you ever look at the stadium, you'll see that there's like the lower section, and then there are two bands that you'll see in the middle. One of them is club level, and then a much smaller band is all of the boxes, and then you go into the upper tier. So that small club level, it's just more expensive seats. You can get meals and stuff before the game. It's just a more expensive experience, effectively. But yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. But I don't know. The atmosphere it's difficult. Would you get rid of club level? No. You look. Would the atmosphere benefit if there was no club level? Maybe. Although a lot of the people that sit in club level would still end up in the rest of the stadium. maybe they would get more involved if they weren't in club level. But ultimately, you need that money. Like, club level drives a decent amount of revenue. So it's just the posture version of the stands. Yeah, kind of, yeah. How worried are you about Bayern next month? I think it's our first real test. I'm not worried. I'm excited. I'm excited. And not in an arrogant way of, oh, I'm excited to go and smash Bayern. Like you say, first real test in the UCL so far. But, like, as long as we beat Slavia Prague, it doesn't hugely matter if we lose. We could afford to lose to Bayern and still finish inside the top 8. And so, actually, I think it's a really good test. I think it's a really good test to see exactly where we are right now and, you know, how we fare against one of what is now probably one of the other favourites to win the Champions League. So, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for the game. Do you think Ekitike in the 10 would work? No, I don't. No, I think Ekitike is a striker. I think Ekitike is the sort of player that you want, you know, running in behind. The issue is Liverpool don't have much space in behind at the moment. I'm going to make a video on it, actually. I'm going to make like a separate video, but looking back now, I really think Liverpool last season were 22-23 Arsenal, but with some more star quality. In terms of, they took an early lead, and unlike Arsenal in 22-23, they never had anyone seriously chase them. You know, we had City, Prime City, Treble City, absolutely gunning for us, winning relentlessly. Liverpool didn't have that, so they never had the pressure, and they also never got the injuries. You know, where we lost Saliba, they never lost Van Dijk. But in terms of the way that season went for them, first half of the season for Liverpool last season was like first half of 22-23 for us. No one really respected it. No one knew who Arne Slot was. No one expected Arsenal to be that good. And so they were killer in transitions, playing free-flowing football, scoring lots of goals, looked amazing. Second half of the season, and Arne Slot has said this himself, Liverpool struggled because teams started sitting deeper. That happened to us in 22-23. And the interesting thing is, okay, they went on and won the league. They had more favourable circumstances. In the summer, what was the plan? Because in the summer after 22-23, we went down the kind of solidity route, right? And actually shoring up the defence. Whereas they've gone all out on the attack. And I would argue, based on this season so far, that wasn't the right decision to make. Vivi Vlad, and it showed too, they dropped off quite a bit in the second half of the season. Timing matters. Exactly. And actually, you look at, you know, a lot of their fans, when they dropped off in the second half of last season, were saying, well, it's because we've already got the league wrapped up and they're on holiday, yada, yada, yada. The problem is that's continued into this season. And maybe it wasn't that they were on holiday. Maybe it was that actually they'd been found out a little bit. So, yeah, I think that's interesting. Club level season ticket holders are fair weather fans. You always see those club level tickets on the exchange for a game that's not Real Madrid or North London Derby. Some of them, sure. Some of them are. Yep. I don't disagree with that. It's weird. I feel like they have played in better in games they lost in the games that they won. Some of them, yeah. Some of them. I think I saw a stat. From the opening 5 games that they won, when they won 5 from 5, their expected points was 8. So they should have picked up 8 points from the opening 5. From the following 4, which they've lost all of them, their expected points was 6. So actually, they've lost 4 games in a row, and they're still ahead of their expected points. Their expected points based on the opening 9 games is 14 points. They're on 15 points. But yeah, weirdly, it's kind of worked where they got points in games they didn't deserve to and didn't get points in games they did deserve to. But yeah. Waleed is in the building. I messaged you regarding my podcast. If you could reply after stream. Yeah, definitely. What did you message me on? Just let me know so I can go and find it. But yeah, sounds good. You're smashing it, by the way, Waleed. Keep up the content. Absolute legend. If you don't watch Waleed, go and check him out. Unlikely, but imagine Sunderland going from Championship to Champions League. It'd be crazy. Imagine Bournemouth getting Champions League this season after losing Kepa, Zabanyi, Huijsen, and Gyokeres. Pretty impressive. WhatsApp? Oh, sweet. Nice. Yeah, I'll get back to you straight after the stream. Ecuador fans are furious Hincapie ain't getting playing time and isn't a bench player material. Yeah, but he's been injured. He's been injured. And I said it before the game against Palace. Like, people that expected Hincapie to come in and start if Gabriel was injured was crazy. You're not going to start a guy against you're not going to start a guy against Mateta that hasn't played or that's played 3 minutes for Arsenal so far. But I thought when he came on, he looked excellent. Hopefully he'll get more minutes against Brighton, and then you can look at moving. Hand of Arsenal is in the building as well. Big up, Rory. Saka just rehearsing. You love to see it. You love to see it. Hand of Arsenal. By the way, Hand of Arsenal holding people to account on X, which I absolutely love to see. Because and this does move us on to the next point. Everyone is crying. There was a Liverpool journalist, the Liverpool Echo or something, major outlet, claiming that Arteta has said that he basically invented the importance of set pieces, which obviously he never said that. He said that it was around 10 years ago that he first kind of realized how important set pieces were within a game, and that was the truth, and he's kind of developed that. He absolutely cooked that LFC journalist. Yeah, exactly. And Hand of Arsenal cooked him. Are you going to the Carabao game on Wednesday? Yes, I will be. What a sick community you have here. It is. Do you know what? As Hand of Arsenal said it, the community on this channel is genuinely elite. And I do appreciate all of you. Akash, thank you very, very much for becoming a member. Not even gifted. He's become a member off his own back. You'll love to see it. Akash, thank you very, very much. I appreciate the support. As always, all of it goes back into the channel, and it does massively, massively help me. So thank you very much for that. And enjoy the custom badge that you now have with it as well. And the emojis that you can use. Is it the real HOA? It is. It is the real deal. Love you, man. Love you too. Winning the Carabao Cup in March could give us an extra push in crunch time, which is why I think we should take it seriously, despite it being a Mickey Mouse trophy. I agree. If we've got the players available to take it seriously, then I think we should. Because like you said, I think, and you look at the teams that would normally be competing for the Carabao Cup at that level, City, their squad depth isn't great this year, and they've really got to focus on other things. Same with Liverpool, it could be. I think if we win that, it not only does it give you a boost, it also takes a bit of pressure off. Because there is pressure mounting, and there has been pressure mounting over just the amount of time it is since we won a trophy. And even though, could I care less about the Carabao Cup? I'm not sure. I could care less about the fact that we haven't won a trophy and the pressure that it relieves. You get that trophy under your belt. Obviously, we want the big two, but you get that pressure off. So yeah, I completely agree with that. HOA the GOAT, you'll love to see it. Sam, thank you very, very much for the $4.99. What do you think Liverpool need to change, or is it just new signings? I don't think they know how to play against a low block. People make out as if it's just easy to play through a low block. It ties into what people are saying about Arsenal right now, doesn't it? That why aren't they playing free-flowing football? Why are they relying on set pieces? The level of the Premier League in terms of the mid to lower teams is so much higher than it used to be. And the way that they set up is very difficult to break down. And Arteta clocked onto that. Arteta clocked onto the fact that there are so many teams in the Premier League now that can genuinely shut you down and hit you in transition. And so the way to beat that is to make sure that you don't concede goals in transition, that you keep lots of clean sheets, and if you can't break through them in open play, beat them on set pieces. Because set pieces don't really matter what your tactics are. If you're putting in unbelievable deliveries and you've got people on the end of it that score goals, you're going to have things fall for you. And so Arteta clocked that. I don't think Arne Slot clocked it yet. And that's the big difference. And I think it'll take him time. Because right now, I look at that Liverpool team, there's no one not playing in that squad that I think, in terms of tactically from Slot, you don't go, oh, well, why is he not playing this player? And I don't really see any solutions to the way that they're playing. So, yeah, I think, it's taken Arteta 3 years to truly figure out what we needed to do. I think he had figured it out by last year. We just got ravaged by injuries. But yeah, I don't right now. I don't know what Liverpool changed. Do you know what Liverpool actually needed? Liverpool went and spent 300 million on the attack. What they actually and you look at, by the way, some of the players that they scapegoated. Luis Diaz was the best example. They scapegoated Luis Diaz. He's doing perfectly well at Bayern Munich. They've been scapegoating Cody Gakpo. I think he's looked like one of their best players. The thing that they did wrong was they spent 300 million on the attack. They didn't replace the creativity and ball progression of Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I think they massively underestimated how important that was. They've desperately needed a 6 for a long, long time. Arne Slot made Ryan Gravenberch work as a 6. That isn't enough by itself. You need a ball-playing 6. And they needed someone to play the ball out from the back better than Konate. So I think there's a number of things that they did wrong. And they thought, and to be fair, even their own fan base went into this season, and I even said it at times, because they've got all these attacking players, well, Liverpool will just, even if they concede 3, they'll score 4. If they concede, 2, they'll score 3. It doesn't work like that against teams that can shut you out. And that's what teams have figured out. So, yeah, look, it is what it is. Unlucky for them. Daniel, thank you very, very much for becoming a member as well. Absolute legend. What a stream it's been, by the way, in terms of the new members. You love to see it. You love to see the greenery in the chat. Daniel, I appreciate that. Enjoy the emojis and the badge that you get. You know it's embarrassing when a journalist gets content false warning on X. Yeah, look, this is the problem. I've been saying for a while, by the way. There's a genuine problem. Well, it's not a problem for me. Actually, it's something that allows me to be able to do this because people would rather tune into people like me than actual mainstream journalists. Not many people, but enough people that I can do it for a living. But the problem with journalists like that is they are no more credible than United Trey. When they put things out like that, when they deliberately put out false things, they are no better than United Trey. And if you're no better than United Trey, well, then I may as well just follow United Trey because at least he'll be funny at times as well. That's the problem that they've got. Will Jamie O'Hara mention the set pieces now that Spurs are scoring them every game? Probably not. Probably not. Fat Boys says, can you wish my dad Scott a happy birthday, please, with the 199? Well, firstly, thank you for the 199. And secondly, happy birthday to Scott, father of Fat Boys. I hope you have a very good day. And Ole has... Is it Ollie or Ola? Ola Aronson. Swedish. 20 Swedish krona. Thank you very, very much. We are currently, I was so confused by the numbers then. Basically, we are currently on track to beat Chelsea's 15-goal record. That is true. I think we're on track for like 13, maybe less than 13 goals right now, right? We're 9 games in. We're conceding a goal every 3 games. If you did that for the full season, in your 36th game, you'd concede your 12th goal. So, yeah, like we are well on track to beat that record right now. I still don't think we will beat the record, but you never know. You never know. Fizzy, thank you very, very much for being a member for 4 months. If we could be 15 points ahead by Christmas, opponents might have to throw in the towel and focus on the cups. We're on course for 92 points. Yeah, look, this is what I'm saying. That was kind of the next thing that I was going to go into. And we'll... There I am. And thank you, by the way. 14 months is incredible support, by the way, Fizzy. I do appreciate that. Sorry, 4 months. Still incredible support. Our next run of games now, I'm looking at it going, okay, Brighton in the Carabao Cup. Hopefully we win, is what it is. Burnley away, you should be winning. Slavia Prague, get ourselves to 12 from 12 in the Champions League. Really good position there. And then Sunderland away, which, look, on paper, Sunderland away right now is a difficult game. However, I do think we should be winning it. And so if we do that, that takes us to how many points are we on right now? 22. So if we win both of those, we go up to 28 points. And if you look at City and Liverpool, not only do they play each other, but City's next game is at home to Bournemouth. That is a difficult game. Like, make no mistake about it. And the way that Bournemouth play is really kind of well set up to play against Man City. And then you look at Liverpool. Where are we now? Where are we? I've lost my place. Here we go. If we look at Liverpool, Liverpool have got Villa. After playing Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup, they've got Villa. 8 p.m. on the Saturday again. They just played the 8 p.m. Saturday game. I think that's a horrible... I think the 8 p.m. Saturday, I think, is rough. So, and then they've got Madrid before City. Now, annoyingly, I feel like City are probably going to beat Liverpool at the moment. But even if that happens, if we've won both of our games, we'd be 10 points ahead of Liverpool at that point. It starts getting to the point where it's insurmountable. I mean, there's every chance that Liverpool either draw or lose to Villa and then draw or lose to Man City. At that point, there'd be 6 Premier League games without a win. And they'd be in a genuine top 4 battle. I mean, you look at where they are already. They're in 7th. They're on 15 points. By that point, they could be, in terms of the top 4, they could be 4 or 5 points out of the top 4. And we've got the games that we've got. So, yeah, I think it's so important. If we can take a lead of... I mean, City could win both of their games, right? But even then, if we're 6 points ahead of City going into the next international break, it's great. Even if City drop another 2, even if they draw against either Liverpool or against Bournemouth, taking an 8-point lead over them and a possibly 10-point lead over Liverpool, you start getting into the position where it's like, we can really stretch out the lead here. Like you said, to the point where they start looking at it going, right, you've got to pick and choose your games now and focus on other things. So, yeah, it's a good position. It is a good position. Emery away is not going to be anything for Liverpool. Is not going to get anything from Liverpool. Possibly not. But Villa look good right now. I mean, Villa's Premier League record right now is pretty solid. And also, by the way, Villa got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. So Villa don't have a Carabao Cup game midweek, where Liverpool do, which is against Palace, which is a really tough game. And Liverpool don't have much depth. Curtis Jones just got injured. Frimpong's out. So, yeah, I think, Villa have won what? 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive wins in the Premier League and 6 Premier League games unbeaten. And actually, in hindsight, a draw away at Sunderland doesn't even look that bad. So... we're in a good spot. And that's why people are getting worried. And that's why you're starting to hear things that just look absolutely ridiculous. Jeff Stelling, I think, on TalkSport this morning, talking about how awful it is to watch Arsenal. Why don't you talk about the way that opposition are setting up against us? Why is it on us to make the game entertaining? When Liverpool are making games entertaining, teams are setting up the same against us as they are against Liverpool, right? Liverpool are playing in a way that makes those games entertaining. They're entertaining because they're conceding goals. And ultimately, they're losing games. And the thing is, if we did that, if we really went for it and overcommitted trying to break these teams down, and we started losing games, it would be straight back to Arteta's not good enough, the squad's not good enough, they don't know how to play against these teams, yada, yada, yada. So the way I see it is, fundamentally, the last 4 Premier League games... we had dropped points against all 4 of those teams last season in those fixtures. The fact that we've turned them all into wins is huge. And they are the games. As much as idiots, right, trying to tell you that when we went away to the Etihad and drew 0-0 in 23-24, that was what cost us the title. They aren't the games that cost you the title. The games that have cost us the title for the last 3 years have been your Fulhams, your Palaces, your Newcastles, your West Hams, and we've turned it around. We turned it around against them. So, and that's, I think, why people are a bit worried, because deep down they probably knew that was the issue we had. Great point about AFCON, Ross. We won't lose anyone, which is a bonus. Yeah, we don't lose anyone to AFCON. I mean, we did this on stream before, but obviously Liverpool lose Salah. Liverpool don't lose anyone other than Salah, do they? Which, the way that he's playing at the moment, doesn't even seem like that big of a loss. City will lose Ait Nouri and Marmoush. Is that it that City lose? So, and then the rest. I mean, United have suddenly started playing well, but they're going to lose their entire right-hand side. So, That United lose Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Mbeumo. Is that it? But it's the whole right-hand side. What did you think of the celebration from Gyokeres and Gabriel in the Champions League? I loved it. I think the... Are you saying that it's good that we don't have Africans in our squad? Absolutely not. Because I'll tell you who I'd love to have in the squad, Antoine Semenyo. Because he's African and he's not going to AFCON. So there you go. Yeah, I feel like the squad feels really together at the moment. Arteta spoke about them wanting to go out for a meal midweek. You look at the way that, like, you know, at the end of the game yesterday, it's just bodies on the line. Everyone's fighting for it. It feels like this year there's just a general feeling at the club and amongst the players of like, this is the year now. This has to be the year now. So yeah, it's good. How come Semenyo didn't play for England? I don't know, to be fair, or it's personal preference, I suppose. I mean, there are a lot of them that, like, if they get to a certain age and it doesn't look like they're going to break through for England, then they commit to another team. But yeah, to be fair, I have no idea what Semenyo's kind of story with it was. What's your lineup for the Brighton game? We'll go through that tomorrow. Same time as normal tomorrow. We'll be live. We'll do the Brighton preview tomorrow. Because the thing is, there's no point doing my lineup now before Arteta's done his press conference. Because that could give us clues as to who's fit and who's not and stuff. So Timber is way better than Coyote. Would be good if White leaves. Yeah, I mean, Coyote's a very fun player, right? And the long throw is incredible, but I don't know how good he is in terms of, like, possession and stuff like that. I'm slightly worried about the players looking slightly fatigued, especially Gyokeres. Havertz, Noni Martin coming back will be so important. Yeah, I agree. And it's not a surprise, by the way. Like, the amount of running that Victor Gyokeres is getting through is crazy. And when I say, oh, I can't wait for Havertz to be back, it's not because I'm like, oh, you know, Gyokeres isn't good enough and I want Havertz to walk into the team. It's because Gyokeres needs a break. He needs a breather. It wouldn't surprise me if... The thing is, so does Declan Rice, because, like, it wouldn't surprise me if against Brighton we played Marino up top, for example. But then you might have to play Marino in midfield. But maybe you play Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield and then Marino can play as the striker. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, I definitely think we need to make it to the international break. In a dream world, we win 4 from 4 between now and the international break. Obviously, some players will go on it, which won't help. But after that, the players that we'll have back will be super, super helpful. So, yeah, I agree. Timber's the best right back in the league. I agree. I think he is. What do you think of Gyokeres? There's a lot of dirt on his name right now. It's annoying to see. I don't care what other people's opinions of him are, to be honest with you. Like, I know what he's doing. I know how difficult it is right now. By the way, people also forget, Gyokeres looked, because even the game against Atletico Madrid, he got 2 goals, but it didn't look like a crazy different performance to ones we've seen previously this season. Gyokeres is missing Ødegaard. The moment Gyokeres started looking at his best was when we had Martin Ødegaard. And in a game like yesterday, and I said it in the match reaction, like, Eze doesn't build up play and facilitate chance creation in the way that Martin Ødegaard does. And so, yeah, without having Ødegaard and Saka consistently feeding it into Gyokeres anyway, like, for me, he's doing everything he can at the moment. And I'll take it. Anyway, look, it is time for the quiz question. Get your fingers on your keyboards. Of course, the winner wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. This is the question. This is today's question. Arsenal have now gone 100 consecutive games in all competitions without conceding 3 goals in a game. Who are the only other team in English Football League history to have done the same? Arsenal have gone 100 consecutive games in all competitions without conceding 3 goals in a game. Who are the only other team in English Football League history to have done the same? The amount of you put in Luton because you thought the question was going to be who was the last team to score 3 against us. Baited. You got baited. Look at all the people saying Luton. You got baited. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, that is quality. That's quality. Quality from the Quizmaster. But who is the winner? That's the question. Who is the winner? Who is the winner? Who is the winner? It is... It's Nid. It's Nid. Nid has won it. It was indeed Manchester United with Man United. He even named the number of games that they went without conceding 3 goals, which was 107. So congratulations to Nid. Mikey was second. FFS PPL was third. Top Gunner was fourth. And Mark Murphy was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations to Nid. He won it by a mile. And there you go. Ross Lawman, VAR check. Goal given to Nid. So that means, by the way, if we go 8 more games without conceding 3 goals, that will be the longest run of any club in English Football League history of going without conceding 3 goals. So there you go. We are at the point where records are there to be broken by this defence. I mean, this season, we've not even conceded 2 goals yet this season. So, yeah, it's been going pretty well. It's been going pretty well. Surely we're breaking that record. The only way I see us not breaking that record is if we do, like, major rotation against Brighton and conceded 3 there. Otherwise, I just don't really see it. Longest run equals being the most boring. Yeah, it must be the most boring run. It must be. Yeah, I'll take it. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the stream. Massively appreciate all of you that have tuned in. We were sat with over 300 people. If you've not subscribed, please do subscribe. Please do like the video before you jump off. And as always, get in the comments with the hype thing. If you want to continue the conversation, the Discord is linked down below as well. The Discord's pretty active these days, which you love to see. And other than that, Steve, again, if you're still listening, Steve, massive thank you for the 40 gifted memberships. I appreciate Nid and everyone else that gifted things as well. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. sharp for the Brighton preview. But until then, enjoy your Monday evening, and I will catch you all on the next one. Goodbye.